Chosen one, a profound change is beginning to bring your life back into proper alignment, and the days when you believed you had been forgotten are gradually revealing their true meaning. I, Michael, want you to pause calmly and recognize this, not through impatience or unexamined belief, but through the clear eyes of someone who has endured enough to understand that every open door must be considered with both faith and wisdom. What you have felt recently, the heaviness you cannot name, moments of uneasiness entering an otherwise ordinary day, and the sense that something is preparing to move, does not necessarily mean that you are losing direction. It may be the moment when you begin to recognize that the former season can no longer contain the new person being formed within you. I saw your faithfulness in places no one noticed, your restraint when you had enough reason to react, and the way you preserved integrity without any praise to sustain you. None of these things disappeared into emptiness. They are becoming the foundation for a season in which resources, influence, and opportunities will come toward you in ways that require greater maturity than before. There were seasons when you remained still, while everyone around you seemed to move continually forward. You watched them receive invitations, recognition, greater opportunities, and things for which you had also prayed. Meanwhile, you continued working in a place few people knew, caring for responsibilities that offered no glory, and trying to preserve faith during days when nothing appeared to change. At times, you wondered whether you were walking along the wrong road, whether your perseverance was being wasted, or whether heaven had noticed everyone except you. You did not speak these thoughts aloud because you feared appearing faithless. You quietly carried those questions into long nights, then continued the next morning, as though nothing within you had been shaken. Yet, my beloved child, silence does not always mean absence. There were times when I did not bring you into visibility immediately, because if recognition had arrived before you learned boundaries, you might have lost yourself while attempting to please everyone. If resources had arrived before you learned management, a lack of discipline could have consumed what was good. If influence had come too early, you might have used it to fill insecurity instead of serving a meaningful purpose. I used hidden places to teach you lessons that a stage could never teach. When no one was watching, you discovered why you truly chose what was right. When there was no applause, you learned whether you would continue. When someone else was chosen instead of you, you had to confront comparison, hurt, and the desire to prove yourself. Those days were uncomfortable, but they helped reveal what still needed healing before you entered a greater position. You now depend less upon approval. You understand that your worth does not increase when you receive attention, and does not decrease when you are overlooked. This stability makes it possible for you to receive something new, without immediately exchanging peace in order to preserve it. The transition of which I speak is not limited to an unexpected amount of money, or a benefit that causes others to admire you. It may come as someone trusting you with greater responsibility, an opportunity that allows your ability to reach its proper place, a relationship that opens a new vision, or an idea you once preserved that has now matured enough to be carried out. Certain resources do not immediately appear in material form, yet become keys to lasting growth. A new skill may transform your ability to create. Timely guidance may protect you from years of moving in the wrong direction. A small door, when entered faithfully, may lead somewhere you once believed you could never reach. Therefore, do not search only for what is glorious. Observe the quiet movements, because many great turning points begin in very ordinary forms. However, you must remember that not every open door carries the same value. Some doors open because they align with your purpose, while others open merely to test whether you are still seduced by recognition. An invitation may offer quick benefit, but require you to exchange peace. Someone may promise to take you farther, while secretly desiring ownership over your voice and decisions. An opportunity may make you visible, while drawing you into an environment without integrity. Do not assume that everything easy is confirmation, nor that every difficulty means you must stop. Examine the fruit. Does it help you become wiser, more responsible, and more truthful? Does it respect your boundaries, health, and good values? Does it allow you to grow without betraying yourself? Discernment will protect you from receiving an increase that later costs you your peace. You must also prepare to manage what is about to be entrusted to you. If your resources increase, do not immediately alter your lifestyle merely to prove that you have entered a new season. Build stability before seeking admiration. Learn how to preserve, plan, and use each part with purpose. If your influence expands, use your words to strengthen others rather than make them feel small. If an opportunity brings you near people of status, do not lose the humility that preserved you during the days when no one knew your name. Something great tests more than your ability. It also tests your motives. Many preserve integrity in scarcity, but become strangers to themselves when they begin to be seen. I want you to enter increase, while remembering the days when you had to wait, so that you never despise those still standing where you once stood. Some people may return when they notice your life beginning. To move, those who were once silent may suddenly become interested. Those who did not believe in your vision may want to stand near when results begin to form. You do not need to nourish bitterness, but neither should you forget what time has revealed merely because of a few beautiful words. Let trust be rebuilt through consistent action. You may forgive without restoring every form of access. You may love while maintaining distance. You may be generous without allowing your success to feed another person's irresponsibility. Boundaries do not make you cold. They protect what required many years to build. I know the waiting exhausted you. You wanted a clear sign that you had not lost your direction and that the hidden years were truly leading somewhere. Yet sometimes the first sign appears not in your circumstances, but within you. You no longer react as you once did. Rejection does not cause you to collapse so easily. You no longer immediately pursue those who turn away. You learn to rest before becoming depleted, ask questions before agreeing, and step back when something feels unhealthy. This is evidence that you have been prepared. Circumstances may only be beginning to change, but the transformation within you has become deep enough that when the new arrives, you will no longer receive it from the posture of someone afraid to lose. My child, do not hurry simply because you hear that a time is opening. A new season does not require you to move faster. It requires you to move more precisely. Complete what is currently before you. Revise the plan, learn what is missing, and stop postponing what you already know must be done. Keep young plans private until they are strong enough to stand. Seek advice from those with experience, but do not surrender all decision-making authority to anyone. Right guidance does not create dependence. It develops maturity in your ability to accept responsibility. Genuine faith does not replace action, It helps you act without being paralyzed by fear. I, Michael, remind you that the hidden days were not useless. They taught you who you are when no one recognizes you, what must be preserved when everything else is removed, and which values you are never permitted to exchange. Now, as doors begin to move, enter them with gratitude, but not naivete, expectation without carelessness, and faith that still preserves wisdom. What is opening is not intended to turn you into someone else, but to allow you to use fully what was refined in silence. You no longer stand in a place of being forgotten. You stand where preparation meets opportunity. When the transition becomes clearer, you will understand that the waiting was not empty. It was where you were shaped to become steady enough to receive, preserve, and transform what is entrusted into a lasting blessing. My child, although you have not yet seen clear evidence that your circumstances are changing, you continued to appear faithfully, choose what was right, and place your trust in God, even when integrity carried a significant cost. I saw the times when you could have chosen an easier road, remained silent before what was wrong in order to protect immediate benefit, or compromised slightly to gain acceptance. Yet deep within, you understood that certain things, once exchanged, could never be repaid by any result, no matter how great. Therefore, you continued doing what was right without praise, keeping your word after others had forgotten their promises, and completing what was entrusted during days when you did not know where the effort would lead. This quiet consistency was never wasted. You may believe that no one noticed the moments when you corrected yourself before making an unwise decision. But I noticed. You may regard the refusal of one shortcut as a small choice, but that decision placed another steady stone into your future foundation. I do not look only at the great results people use to measure success. I observe how you use what is small, how you treat someone who cannot benefit you, and how you preserve purity when you could easily use pain to justify wrongdoing. No detail of your faithfulness was overlooked, because the things no one notices reveal who you will be when greater responsibility is placed in your hands. Recently, you may have felt a new spaciousness forming within the deepest part of yourself. Your outward circumstances have not changed quickly enough to explain it, yet something within you is moving in a way difficult to name. What once satisfied you no longer possesses enough power to keep you there. Former conversations have begun to feel narrow. There are places where you once tried to fit, but now you recognize that you can no longer diminish yourself in order to belong. At times, this feeling confuses you, because you know that you are leaving a former version of yourself, but cannot yet see the shape of the new season. You have not completely lost direction. You are simply being expanded beyond familiar limitations. This expansion may not feel comfortable. When a vessel is prepared to contain more, its former boundaries must be widened. When you are being taught to carry deeper responsibility, habits suitable for the previous season are no longer sufficient. You may find that you need more silence, greater clarity in relationships, and less tolerance for things that continually scatter your mind. This does not mean that you are becoming distant or ungrateful. I am sharpening your perception, strengthening your boundaries, and teaching you to distinguish what develops you from what only consumes your strength. This discomfort is not rejection. It is the pressure of preparation moving you beyond your former capacity. Heaven does not place increase into a life without enough foundation to preserve it. Resources arriving before maturity can become a burden. Influence arriving before you understand. Boundaries can attract those who only desire exploitation. Success arriving while you remain dependent upon praise may cause you to pursue image and leave purpose behind. Therefore, while you prayed for a door to open, I was quietly strengthening the feet that would walk through it. While you waited for provision, I was teaching you to manage what you already had. While you desired recognition, I was helping you construct a measure of worth that could not be altered by either human praise or rejection. There were nights when you sat alone, looked toward the future, and wondered whether anything would ever truly change. Sometimes you spoke a prayer and heard only the silence of the room. You wondered whether your words traveled beyond where you sat, and whether anyone could hear the sigh you did not know how to turn into a sentence. Yet, even while doubting, you continued praying. On some days your prayer was strong, while on others it was only a small cry rising from exhaustion. I received both. What mattered was not that you always felt full of faith, but that amid unstable emotions, you continued returning to the source of peace rather than surrendering yourself to despair. Every time you returned in this way, something invisible accumulated. Patience became deeper. The capacity to preserve direction before seeing results was built. Mixed motives within you were gradually purified, so that you no longer desired breakthrough, merely to prove that those who underestimated you were wrong. You began to desire results for better reasons. Freedom, service, the building of something healthy, and release from the fear of scarcity. When motives become pure, resources can pass through your hands without transforming you into someone foreign to the values you once preserved. What was once covered is now moving toward expression. It does not need to appear through chaos in order to prove that it is powerful. An opening that comes at the proper time often carries order. A suitable opportunity may arrive very ordinarily, through a conversation, an introduction, or an idea you once dismissed. An important door may not create an overwhelming feeling, yet when you examine it deeply, it will bring clarity and peace. What has been prepared does not necessarily pressure you to decide through fear. It may require courage, but it will not force you to betray integrity, lose rest, or diminish your voice. In order to enter, the transfer of resources for which you are being prepared is not built upon noise, display, or regret. It is built upon alignment. This means that your mind, intentions, habits, and choices must move toward the purpose you say you want to pursue. You cannot ask for stability while continuing to allow impulse to govern your spending. You cannot desire greater responsibility while disregarding the small matters already in your hands. Neither can you search for a peaceful season while continually opening the door to relationships that bring chaos back into your life. Alignment is not merely a sacred feeling. It is revealed through the way you arrange time, protect focus, manage resources, and maintain healthy boundaries. I am not telling you to chase every opportunity because you fear missing something. What belongs to you does not require a life of exhausting pursuit. Some invitations appear significant, but only draw you away from what matters. Certain roads promise fast results, yet the cost is peace, credibility, or principles you spent many years constructing. Learn to recognize rather than merely react. Observe consistency. Examine motives. Ask whether an opportunity moves you nearer to purpose or only satisfies the need to be seen. The right door is not always easy, but it will not require you to become false in order to gain acceptance. When resources begin to move, you must also remember that not everyone appearing during a season of growth has the right to enter deeply into your plans. Some will approach because they sense that something is opening, but not everyone comes to build with you. Allow time to perform its work. Do not hand over keys merely because someone says exactly what you want to hear. The maturity gained through waiting will help you recognize who respects who you are, who cares only about what you can offer, and who is stable enough to rejoice in your progress without attempting to control the result. My child, continue faithfully, but do not turn faithfulness into self-punishment. You need to work, but you also need rest. You need to prepare, but you do not need to control every result. You need to enter doors that open, but you do not have to use personal strength to break down those that remain closed. Your responsibility is to maintain alignment, complete what is before you, and preserve purity from impatience. The rest does not need to be forced by you. A lasting opening will come at a pace that allows you to adapt, mature, and manage it peacefully. Remember that you were not standing still without purpose. While circumstances appeared unable to catch up, your inner capacity was expanding. You know yourself more clearly, recognize what no longer aligns, and are less willing to exchange peace for quick results. This is evidence that you are closer to the season of expression than before. Not because you desperately need it to arrive, but because you are stable enough no longer to need it to confirm your worth. When results are no longer the rescue of your identity, you can receive them while remaining yourself. What you cultivated quietly is approaching the time of bearing fruit. Yet this fruit will not come so that you can display that you were right. It will show that long faithfulness was never empty. You will recognize prepared opportunities through the peace accompanying them, the clarity of their purpose, and their refusal to require you to betray lessons purchased with tears. Continue listening, preparing, and walking in order. You do not need to pursue what belongs to you. When timing and maturity meet, the right door will appear, and you will possess enough discernment to recognize it, courage to enter, and wisdom to preserve what is entrusted. You will soon realize that the new season does not begin through noisy upheaval, but through subtle changes so exact that you cannot regard them as coincidence. Doors that once exhausted you, because you knocked repeatedly without success, will begin to move without your forcing them. In places where you previously had to explain, prove, and strive merely to be heard, one timely conversation may open what many months of effort could not. Ideas that once appeared only as distant fragments of light, leaving you unsure where to begin, will gradually become clearer, structured, and practical. People who once seemed to have no reason to enter your journey may unexpectedly become the ones who bring guidance, connection, or opportunities aligned with what you are called to do. I want you to understand that heaven's guidance does not always appear as an event that forces everyone to notice. Often it comes through a sequence of very gentle arrangements. Meeting the right person during an ordinary day, hearing one sentence that answers something you considered for a long time, or suddenly noticing a road you saw many times before without understanding its meaning. These movements may be small, but they carry an unusual harmony. You will feel as though the scattered pieces of many years are finding their proper places at the same time. What confused you begins to receive an explanation. What disappointed you gradually appears as a necessary part of preparation. What was delayed returns at the time when you have become mature enough to receive it. Yet do not call every increase a blessing merely because it comes quickly or appears brilliant. Certain things arrive like a great fire, but disappear as soon as the first emotion fades. Certain opportunities promise much, while taking away peace, integrity, and the ability to live according to what you believe. Certain relationships create a feeling of elevation for a moment, but later force you continually to question your worth. What I establish carries a different quality. It is not necessarily easy, but it possesses stability. It may require growth, learning, and responsibility, yet it will not force you to betray yourself. It does not draw you into a race of comparison. It helps you become more deeply rooted in the purpose placed within you. I am not calling you into a life in which you must run until exhaustion every day to preserve what you receive. I am teaching you stewardship. Stewardship means valuing resources without allowing them to rule you, using influence without turning it into a tool for increasing ego, and expanding your ability while preserving humility. What comes to you is not intended only to improve your personal circumstances. It is also an opportunity for my heart to be reflected through the way you treat others. When you possess more, you will be able to create more opportunities. When your voice is heard, you will carry the responsibility to use it to strengthen the vulnerable, bring clarity, and protect what is true. Increase is not merely privilege. It is an invitation into a greater level of responsibility. You will also notice that your inner desires begin to change. Certain things you once pursued continually will suddenly lose their appeal. Praise that once mattered greatly will no longer satisfy you for long. Conversations filled with display, but lacking depth, will quickly exhaust you. At the same time, things you once regarded as small will become more valuable. Peace within your home, meaningful work, people capable of speaking truthfully to you, time to care for yourself, and the ability to live without continually performing a role. This change does not mean that you are losing ambition. It means that your heart is being purified, so that you no longer pursue things that are beautiful on the outside, but empty within. Before giving you more, I am adjusting your inner world. If increase arrives while you remain too dependent upon recognition, you may use success to prove your worth. If resources arrive while you are still governed by the fear of lack, you may hold too tightly and never feel that you possess enough. If influence arrives before you learn humility, you may unknowingly become what once wounded you. Therefore, I used slow years to teach you integrity, gratitude, boundaries, and responsibility. These lessons do not merely help you receive something new. They help you preserve your nature when the new arrives. There will be opportunities that feel larger than your current ability. You may stand before a new responsibility and wonder whether you are truly ready. Perhaps you will look at the scope of the work, the people you need to guide, or the resources you must manage, and feel quiet hesitation. Do not regard this hesitation as proof that you are insufficient. Mature people often recognize the weight of responsibility because they understand that what they receive is not a game. True confidence does not mean believing that you already know everything. It is the peace of knowing that you can learn, ask, adjust, and grow within the very assignment you have received. I, the one who prepared the road, also quietly prepared you through every previous season. The times when you had to begin again taught flexibility. The moments when you were misunderstood refined your ability to remain calm. Seasons of limited resources taught you to manage what was small. Failed plans helped you distinguish perseverance from stubbornness. You will enter the new, not as someone without experience, but as someone trained through circumstances that once appeared unrelated. When you look back, you will recognize that every lesson was preparing an ability you now need. What is about to open is not unfamiliar to heaven. Even though it may be completely new to you, I considered your capacity, know clearly which places still need growth, and understand exactly how much you can carry within each stage. I will not place the entire weight of tomorrow upon your shoulders. Today, you need only remain faithful to what is currently entrusted. When you complete this step, the capacity for the next will open. Do not overwhelm yourself by attempting to live many future years within one afternoon. Remain in the present, do what is before you with integrity, and allow the road to reveal itself one step at a time. Not everyone will understand what is happening in your life. Some will observe the change and call you fortunate. Some will question your motives, misinterpret decisions, or repeat an old version of you in order to deny who you have become. Certain people were comfortable only while you needed their permission, so your growth may make them uneasy. You do not need to fight in order to force everyone to understand. What I am doing does not need to be defended through endless explanations. Time, character, and fruit will speak more clearly than every justification. Preserve integrity, communicate when necessary, but do not waste your strength trying to persuade someone who has chosen to see you through an old story. Your role is not to prove that you were chosen for something great. Your role is to continue living in alignment. Speak truthfully, keep your word, care for what is entrusted, avoid shortcuts that damage dignity, and refuse to allow new attention to make you forget the principles that preserved you in hidden seasons. As you continue walking in this way, the change will become impossible to deny. Others may argue with your words, but it is difficult to argue against a life marked by consistency, peace, and lasting fruit.